Hello everyone, welcome to my October 2018 haul video. Welcome back to another haul video. This is for October of 2018, and for those of you not familiar with this series of videos that I do here on my channel, basically I just go over all the different things I picked up in a various month. It just happens to be October. It's usually movie and comic book related things or books or something like that, but without further ado, let's get into it. The first up here is actually something I forgot to put in my last month's video, and I didn't realize it until I, of course, had already uploaded last month's video, and that of course is Mr. Miracle issue 11. This is the penultimate issue of a 12-issue maxi series that is written by Tom King, and this is a fantastic series that I've been reading right along. I showed a bunch of the issues that I got a couple of months ago, and this is number 11. Number 12 comes out November 14th, which is probably already passed by the time I put this video up. I tend to put these videos up way later in the month than I intentionally plan to do, but sometimes that just happens. Let's get into all of the Blu-rays I picked up, and this one here right away is a Criterion that I actually already owned on DVD, but they since upgraded it to Blu-ray and I just had to have it, and that is My Man Godfrey, directed by Gregory LaCava. This is a fantastic movie that I just love, and the reason why I got this before the Criterion sale, which is probably going on right now, is because there was a 50% off flash sale on the Criterion.com website, and I had an extra $10 gift certificate that they gave to all of these subscribers of Filmstruck, so I was able to get this for a decent price, and I just could not pass it up. Next up here is not quite a Blu-ray, it is actually an original motion picture soundtrack, and that is of the new Halloween film. This is done by John Carpenter and his son, and also Daniel Davies. This is an amazing original soundtrack. I saw the movie in theaters. The review for that is already up on my channel, and I had to buy this soundtrack pretty much right away. But back to Blu-rays. Next up here is one of my favorite films of this year. I believe it is in my top 5, definitely in my top 10 the last time I checked, and that is 8th Grade, directed by Bo Burnham and starring Elsie Fisher. This is a fantastic coming-of-age film, very raw, very real, very interesting look at just the modern generation of kids growing up and what they have to deal with at such a young age in their early teens. And Bo Burnham, I think, directed the heck out of this movie. Check out the review I did on my channel of the movie when it came out in theaters. Next up is another film that came out this year and is also one of my favorites, and that is Sorry to Bother You. This movie is one of the more original and unique films you will ever see. It is astonishing what they were able to do with this movie when it came to social commentary and things like that. I also did a review for this on my channel when it came out in theaters. Please give that a watch as well. Next up here is a 4K re-release of a movie that is one of my favorites of all time, and this is The Big Lebowski by the Coen brothers. I absolutely love this movie. I've seen it so many times. I bought it on DVD, I bought it on Blu-ray, and now I have it on 4K. And what is interesting about this UHD edition is that the 4K looks fantastic. It's from a new 4K remaster and looks amazing. But they put the old Blu-ray that came out a few years ago accompanying this, and it doesn't look that great. As one of the problems with this release is you don't get a remastered version of the movie on Blu-ray. You only get it in the 4K version. The next crop of things that I'm going to show you are all horror or Halloween related things that I picked up during last month. This year I made a very concerted effort to watch at least one horror or Halloween related film every day of the month, and I actually did weekly recaps here on my channel of all of the things that I watched. First up here is Halloween, The Curse of Michael Myers, the unrated producer's cut. This can actually be found in one of the Halloween collections that I think came out exclusively from Shout Factory a few years ago. That edition actually has a bunch of special features and interesting things there. This is essentially only the cut of the movie, which is kind of unfortunate because I would like to have had all of those special features, but at least I have this cut of the movie as well as the theatrical cut. I have to say, though, that the producer's cut is not much of an improvement on the theatrical cut. The next two films are part of an ongoing horror franchise, and the first up here is Insidious, and then I also have Insidious Chapter 2. These are both directed by James Wan, who is a great director. He's done not only horror movies, he's done some action in the Fast and Furious franchise. He's directing the Aquaman film, which comes out in about a month from now. Next up here is a Korean zombie film, and that is Train to Busan. And what is interesting about this film is that it came out a few years ago under the radar a little bit. It got a bit of a fan following when it ended up on Netflix. And I really like this movie. It does have those fast-moving zombies that you see in like 28 Days Later or 28 Weeks Later or World War Z, but it's a really good graphic film. I really highly recommend checking this out, and don't sleep on those foreign horror films. They tend to be really good. And next up here is a surreal horror, just crazy movie that came out this year, starring the one and only Nicolas Cage, and that is Mandy. This movie is off-the-wall bananas. It's surreal, it's artsy, it's absolutely astonishing and brilliant. Nick Cage is at his most weird and Nick Cage in this movie, and I love it so much. It's one of my favorites of the year, certainly one of the more unique films I've ever seen, and I really highly recommend this if you're looking for movies not only starring Nick Cage, but movies that are just off-the-wall crazy. Next up here is actually a complete series box set of a TV show that I grew up watching and that I love so much, and I've been wanting to get for so many years, but I've just been waiting for the price point to go down to a certain level, and it finally did, and that is The Munsters. If you're not familiar with The Munsters, back in the 90s, they played reruns on Nick at Night and, of course, on TV Land, which they're probably still airing right now. And the Munsters were basically what happens if the Universal Monsters were a family and they lived in, like, our real world. But to them, our world is the weird world and their world is the normal world. It's really fantastic. I can't recommend this enough. As you can see in here, it has seasons 1 and season 2, only ran for 2 seasons. But what is interesting with this set is you get both feature-length TV movies, which is Munster Go Home and The Munster's Revenge. So I highly recommend getting this if you can. What blows my mind about this is that the show was in black and white, and yet you have a full-color, really brightly colored packaging here that doesn't make any sense to me at all. The last two things I have to show you are the big purchases of the month. The first up here is a set that I was looking to get, but I really wasn't willing to pay the full price for it, but it had a one-day sale on Amazon for a very reasonable price, and I just had to get it, despite me already having some of the movies in this collection, as well as having one of the things that are in this set, and that is the Universal Classic Monsters Complete 30-Film Collection on Blu-ray. And what is fascinating about this set is that it actually came out, I believe, around a month ago or so, or maybe a little bit more, and it was actually recalled because the set in here that featured the Creature of the Black Lagoon films had some defects with it. There were some problems with, I think, the printing or something like that, and they had to all be recalled. And one of the things that they did to make sure people get the right sets now is down here below you have a new barcode, a new UPC code, and it's actually a sticker that's over the old one. So if you're in a store or if you're looking online and you want to make sure that you get the new corrected set, make sure it has the sticker over the UPC code. And I have to say that this is a pun unintended, a monster of a set featuring 30 films. Unfortunately, these are essentially just the complete legacy collections for all the classic monster movies in a box. You're not really missing out on anything, except there is an edition here for Phantom of the Opera. There is an exclusive booklet here as well, but it is the same booklet that was actually in the Essential Collection set from a few years ago, so if you have that set, you're really not missing out on much at all. That is the Universal Classic Monster set, and I'm probably going to be doing a whole review of this set, a closer look to get inside all of the details and all of the packaging, and all of the movies that it entails. And finally, I saved the best for last. At least it's the best in my opinion. It's the thing that is near and dearest to my heart. If you've been following this channel long enough, you know I have a bit of a fandom for not only DC Comics, but specifically Batman. And this here is Batman, the complete animated series, deluxe limited edition Blu-ray set that comes with the exclusive 3 miniature pop figurines here at the top. You have Batman, Harley Quinn, and the Joker. These are not full-size pop figures. They're very, very small to fit in this really, really compact set. That's probably one of the problems with it. It's kind of too compact, but you get the complete series completely remastered on Blu-ray. The show looks amazing. It really looks so much better than you saw on TV or you see it with the DVDs. It also includes the movies The Mask of the Phantasm as well as Mr. Freeze Sub-Zero. It is missing, I believe, the Batwoman movie, and I'm probably going to do a more full, detailed look at this to really show off all the ins and outs, because it's rather complex. So that has been my haul video for October of 2018. If there's anything in it that you want to see in more depth, other than the things I already plan on going in more depth on, please let me know. Also, if you like this video, please check out the other videos on my channel.